If I told you there is a psalm so powerful, so fiercely anointed, so deeply hidden in the corridors of spiritual mystery, that simply hearing it once could open every financial door in your life, would you believe me? If I told you there is a divine code sealed for generations, capable of shifting the atmosphere around your money, collapsing the walls standing against your prosperity, and awakening a flow of abundance that never stops, would your heart be ready to receive it? If I told you that the breakthrough you have been waiting for, praying for, crying for, could be released not through effort or struggle, but through a single moment of spiritual activation, would your spirit rise in expectation? Because today, you are not here by accident. Today, you were led. Today, heaven brought you into a sacred space where hidden things are revealed and closed doors swing wide open. Today, you are standing at the threshold of a divine mystery known only by a remnant across the centuries. A mystery that carries the weight of heaven's authority and the fire of God's abundance. This is not just any prayer. This is not a casual message. This is not a comforting devotional. This is a summoning, a spiritual awakening, a call into higher realms, an invitation into a blessing so radical it will overwhelm every area of lack in your life. Because what you are about to hear is not a psalm in its common form. It is a fusion, a hidden combination of Psalm 112, Psalm 91, and Psalm 23, merged into a single decree of abundance, protection, and divine provision. For centuries, its full power has been shielded, not because God wanted to hide blessing from you, but because the force contained within these words is not for the unprepared. It is for those whose spirits are ready to step into authority. It is for those who are willing to receive. It is for those who understand that heaven responds to faith wrapped in boldness. And today, heaven has chosen you. So, before we go any deeper, allow your heart to feel what is happening at this very moment. Your spirit is stirring. The air around you feels heavier, almost electric. The atmosphere is shifting because the frequency of your life is rising. You are aligning with something holy, something ancient, something powerful. Now hear me. Every struggle with money, every delay in breakthrough, every door that refused to open, none of that was random. None of that was coincidence. There have been invisible forces resisting your blessing. Spiritual barriers standing between you and the abundance God promised. But those forces are trembling right now, because the moment you hear this hidden decree, the moment you allow these divine frequencies to enter your spirit, a supernatural shaking will begin. Chains will break, walls will crumble, blockages will dissolve, and the flow of heaven will rush toward you like a river freed from a dam. But first, before that power is revealed, your spirit must be prepared. You must understand why this psalm carries such explosive force. Psalm 112 is the psalm of prosperity. Its verses declare financial blessing, legacy, wealth, and unshakable favor. Psalm 91 is the psalm of protection. It seals your life, your home, your path from every attack of darkness. Psalm 23 is the psalm of provision. It summons divine supply, supernatural guidance, overflowing abundance. Separately, they are strong. Together, they are unstoppable. This fusion is what the ancient teachers called a royal decree, a command, not a request, a spiritual verdict, not a plea, a declaration spoken with the authority of someone who knows their identity in God. That is why this hidden psalm does not simply comfort you, it activates you. It awakens you. It transforms you. It shifts you from beggar to commander, from seeker to possessor, from wisher to decreer of destiny. But let me give you a truth that many never learn. Heaven does not respond to begging. Heaven responds to decree. When you beg, you place yourself beneath your situation. When you decree, you rise above it. When you beg, you speak from lack. When you decree, you speak from inheritance. When you beg, you hope for permission. When you decree, you exercise authority. And this psalm, this sacred fusion of spiritual codes, does not work through begging. It works through the voice of a child of God who understands their divine right. That is why, before you hear the decree itself, your mind must shift, your heart must rise, your identity must awaken. You are not someone trying to earn blessing. You are someone claiming what heaven already wrote with your name on it. You are not someone hoping for a miracle. You are someone stepping into a miracle already in motion. You are not someone knocking on the door of provision. You are someone commanding the door to open. Something in your spirit is already responding. You can feel it, a vibration, a pull, a knowing, because your soul recognizes truth when it hears it. And the truth is, you are standing at the entrance to a new financial reality, a new spiritual authority, a new rhythm of abundance, a new identity in God. But hear this, as you journey through this sacred revelation, you cannot walk alone. You need covering. You need constant spiritual reinforcement. You need a place where faith is spoken daily and the atmosphere of heaven is alive. This is why I gently invite you, if you have not already, to subscribe to Daily Jesus Message. Not out of obligation, but because your spirit needs a home where revelation flows, where your faith is fed, where your mindset is strengthened, where you are guided deeper into the path God is opening for you. Daily Jesus Message is that place, a well of prophetic clarity, a shelter for your spiritual growth, a stream of continual encouragement that aligns you with heaven's voice. If you want the blessing that is coming to remain, if you want your heart to stay awakened, if you want the divine flow of abundance to stay open, then surround yourself with the atmosphere that sustains it. Now breathe deeply, because this is only the beginning. What you are about to hear in the next part is not information. It is activation. It is the ignition of your spiritual authority. It is the transformation of your identity. And once that happens, nothing, absolutely nothing, will be able to stop the abundance that is on its way to you. Prepare yourself. The journey into the secret psalm has only begun. What if I told you that the greatest barrier between you and the abundance God designed for your life is not outside of you, but within you? What if I told you that most people pray for financial breakthrough while holding a mindset that actively blocks the very blessing they are asking for? And what if I told you that before the secret psalm can open the floodgates of heaven for you, something deep inside your spirit must shift completely? Because this journey is not about hearing sacred words. It is about becoming the version of yourself who can command blessing. Before abundance comes externally, authority must rise internally. This is why you are here now. This is why heaven drew you into this exact moment. Because your spirit is ready to awaken into a dimension that most believers never access, a realm where prayer is not begging but commanding, where faith is not fragile but fierce, where identity is not questioned but established. You are being prepared for the decree that changes everything. So let me ask you a question that penetrates the soul. Are you ready to stop approaching God as a desperate seeker and start standing before Him as an empowered heir? Because that is the transformation that must happen before the secret psalm can unleash its full power in your life. Hear this truth clearly. Blessing does not come to the anxious. Breakthrough does not come to the timid. Financial shifting does not come to those who kneel in fear. Heaven responds to sons and daughters who know who they are. This is why your mindset must shift from pleading to proclaiming, from wishing to decreeing, from hoping to commanding. But how do you rise into such authority? How do you step into the identity that makes your words carry weight in the spirit? It begins with one revelation. You are not a spiritual orphan. You are not someone trying to earn God's attention. You are not someone hoping to be heard. You are a child of the Almighty, a carrier of divine authority, a rightful heir to what heaven has stored for you. But for years, the enemy has tried to blind you to this truth. He has whispered thoughts of unworthiness to weaken your confidence. He has pointed to your past to silence your voice. He has used fear to keep you from speaking like a ruler. He has convinced you that your prayers are fragile, when in reality your voice shakes the unseen world. Today, that blindness ends. Because as you continue deeper into this revelation, something inside you is already waking up. You can feel it, a stirring, a pressure, a rising awareness that you are more powerful than you ever realized. This is not ego. This is identity. This is not pride. This is inheritance. This is not self-confidence. This is God-confidence awakening within you. Now listen closely, because what I am about to say is one of the most important truths you will ever hear. Your financial breakthrough is not blocked because heaven is slow. It is blocked because your identity has been suppressed. The moment you rise into your rightful identity, the spiritual realm begins to recognize your authority. And when the spirit world recognizes authority, doors open that no human can shut, and favor flows in ways the natural mind cannot explain. This is why the secret psalm cannot be approached casually. If you listen to it as someone who feels powerless, you limit its effect. But if you hear it as someone awakened to spiritual authority, its power will ignite instantly. This psalm is not spoken to the fearful. It is spoken through the fearless. It is activated by the bold. It is released through those who speak with divine certainty. But to reach that certainty, you must first understand the spiritual system you are entering. Let me break it down. Prayer is communication. Decree is legislation. Prayer asks. Decree commands. Prayer opens the door. Decree walks through it. Prayer prepares your heart. Decree prepares your future. And the secret psalm is a decree, a divine order, a spiritual law written into heaven's archives. When you speak it with awakened authority, heaven must obey and the enemy must retreat. But you cannot decree with a mindset that still feels powerless. You cannot decree with a heart that still sees itself unworthy. You cannot decree with a voice that still shakes in fear. Your inner posture must transform first. You must feel the weight of who you are, the fire of who you are, the royalty of who you are, the inheritance of who you are. You must stand in your spiritual lineage. So imagine this. You are no longer a desperate seeker knocking timidly on a door. You are a child of the King, walking into a palace built for your destiny. You do not ask for permission to enter. The doors open because they recognize the presence of the rightful heir. This is who you are becoming right now. Heaven sees it. Hell fears it. Your spirit feels it. Your future depends on it. And as identity awakens, courage follows. You begin to feel a holy tension inside you, a pressure like something powerful is about to burst open. Your heart beats differently. Your breath deepens. Your atmosphere shifts. This is what spiritual authority feels like. Authority is not loud shouting. Authority is inner knowing. Authority is unshakable calm. Authority is rooted identity. Authority is when your spirit says, I do not ask for breakthrough, I command it. And right now, that authority is rising inside you. But before you can decree, you must break the final layer of spiritual conditioning, the lie that you must wait your turn. People told you to be patient. People told you to accept your situation. People told you that blessing comes later. But heaven is telling you something different. Your moment is now. This is why the secret psalm is entering your life now, not years later. Your spirit is mature enough to handle it. Your identity is strong enough to release it. Your faith is alive enough to activate it. You are crossing into a dimension few believers ever reach, a place where your words no longer echo in silence, but stir the armies of heaven, a place where your declarations no longer float into the air but carve new realities, a place where your posture shifts from fragile to fierce, from pleading to proclaiming. And once you enter this realm, nothing will ever go back to the way it was. You will never pray the same way again. You will never see yourself the same way again. you will never walk through life the same way again. Because once authority awakens, it cannot be put back to sleep. And the moment that authority fully rises, the secret psalm will ignite like fire in your spirit. In the next part, you will step deeper, not into prayer, but into identity transformation, the stage where heaven prepares you to operate not as a seeker, but as a commander of blessing. What if I told you that the reason many believers never experience true breakthrough is not because God is silent, but because they are still living with an identity heaven never gave them? What if I told you that the key to activating miraculous abundance is not learning more prayers, but becoming the person who carries the authority to command blessing? And what if I told you that the moment your identity shifts, the entire spiritual realm must respond? This is where everything changes. This is where the journey of the secret psalm begins to pierce into the deepest layers of your soul. This is where heaven rewrites the way you see yourself. Because before God can place abundance in your hands, he must first transform the person holding it. Listen carefully. You cannot walk in divine prosperity while wearing the identity of someone who fears lack. You cannot decree abundance while seeing yourself as someone unworthy of it. You cannot command financial breakthrough if your heart still believes you are at the bottom. Identity comes before inheritance. Position comes before possession. Authority comes before abundance. And right now, heaven is requesting one thing from you: a complete transformation of how you see yourself. The spiritual world does not respond to your appearance, your past, your achievements, your failures, or your attempts. The spiritual world responds to your identity. This is why the enemy has always attacked that area first. He fears you discovering who you truly are. He fears you stepping into your real spiritual rank. He fears you awakening to the authority you carry. Because the moment you know who you are, he loses all power over your life. So let me tell you the truth many never hear. You were never designed to live as a spiritual beggar. You were never created to walk through life, hoping God notices you. You were never meant to carry shame, fear, scarcity, or insecurity. You were created to rule. You were created to command. You were created to decree. You were created as an heir, not an orphan. But somewhere along the way, life wounded you. Voices diminished you. Experiences weakened you. Failures bruised your confidence. And slowly, without realizing it, you began to accept an identity far lower than the one heaven had spoken over you. Your spirit knew you were called for more. Your heart felt you were destined for greater things. But your mind wore the labels the world placed on you. And that identity has been limiting your abundance ever since. But today, that identity begins to die. Because the sound of the secret psalm is not a lullaby. It is a wake-up call. It is a trumpet that shakes old layers off your soul. It is a divine announcement that your old identity has expired. You cannot walk into your new season wearing yesterday's mindset. You cannot receive abundance with hands shaped by scarcity. You cannot decree like a king while thinking like a servant. So let something powerful begin right now. Imagine your old self standing in front of you, the self that doubted, feared, hesitated, apologized, minimized itself. See that version of you clearly, because in a moment it will no longer exist. The secret psalm does not elevate your emotions. It elevates your identity. It speaks to you the way heaven speaks, not as a wounded person, not as a fragile believer, but as a chosen heir. So hear this. You are not who your struggles said you were. You are not who your failures said you were. You are not who your circumstances tried to shape. You are who God says you are. And God calls you chosen. God calls you beloved. God calls you royal. God calls you powerful. God calls you heir. You may not feel like royalty yet, but your spirit knows this truth. Your spirit recognizes it. Your spirit is rising toward it even now. Because identity is not about emotion. Identity is about revelation. You do not become a child of God when you feel powerful. You become powerful when you embrace that you are a child of God. And right now, the Spirit of God is removing the final pieces of the identity that held you captive. Feel it, the shaking, the stretching, the inner breaking of invisible chains. Something in you is shedding. Something in you is releasing. Something in you is awakening. You are being clothed in a new nature. You are being wrapped in a new mantle. You are being anointed with a new boldness. This is not imagination. This is transformation. And as this identity solidifies, something extraordinary happens. The spiritual world begins to treat you differently. Gates respond to you. Doors obey you. Provision recognizes you. Angels move at your command. Darkness retreats at your presence. Because identity is the language of the unseen world. And when your identity rises, your authority multiplies. So now, declare this in your heart. I am no longer a seeker. I am an heir. I am no longer a beggar. I am a commander. I am no longer hoping for blessing. I am walking in it. I am no longer waiting for breakthrough. Breakthrough responds to me. Feel the shift. Feel the elevation. Feel the boldness wrapping around you like armor. This is more than a mindset shift. This is a spiritual rebirth. And with every breath you take, your old self is fading further away. Your new self, the empowered, anointed, heaven-backed version of you, is emerging. But you must understand something crucial. Once identity transforms, courage must rise to protect it. Your new identity is powerful, but it is also vulnerable during its early moments. Fear will try to whisper. Memories will try to pull you back. Voices from your past will attempt to reattach themselves. But this time, you will not collapse, because the power rising in you is stronger than anything that has ever opposed you. Your identity is not only shifting, it is solidifying, it is anchoring, it is claiming its rightful place. You are stepping into your true spiritual posture, tall, steady, grounded, unmovable. And with this identity awakened, you are ready for what comes next. Because in the next part, you will enter the realm of courage, the fire that burns away every trace of fear, the strength that makes your authority unstoppable, and the force that unlocks the full power of the secret psalm. Listen, there is a moment in every spiritual journey when heaven pauses, darkness trembles, and the soul of a person catches fire. A moment when something ancient, powerful, and divine awakens inside them. A moment when fear loses its voice and courage rises like a roaring wind. And that moment for you is right now. You can feel it already. The air is different. Your spirit is stirring. There is a trembling deep within you, not from fear, but from greatness, waking up. Because before abundance can manifest, before money can flow without stopping, before doors can open with supernatural ease, there must be a shift inside you. A shift from fear to courage, from trembling to standing, from doubting to commanding. This is the moment heaven waits for. This is the moment destiny listens for. This is the moment that transforms a believer into a warrior. Hear this loud and clear. Every spiritual breakthrough begins with courage. Every financial miracle begins with courage. Every release of abundance, every open door, every divine opportunity begins with a heart that refuses to bow to fear any longer. Because fear is the thief of destiny. Fear is the chain that binds abundance. Fear is the whisper that convinces you to stay small, stay silent, stay hidden. But courage is the flame that burns through every limitation. Courage is the weapon that destroys every spiritual barrier. Courage is the fire that summons heaven's armies into motion. And today, the flame inside you is being lit. Let this truth sink deep. You cannot decree abundance while your heart bows to fear. You cannot command financial breakthrough while your spirit is trembling. You cannot call forth divine provision while your identity is tied to the memories of your failures. Before you speak with authority, you must stand with courage. This is why the Holy Spirit is touching you right now. This is why your chest feels alive, why your breath feels heavier, why your soul feels like it is stretching, expanding, awakening. You are stepping out of the identity of a victim and stepping into the identity of a conqueror. You are not the forgotten one. You are not the broken one. You are not the powerless one. You are the chosen one. And the chosen ones must carry courage. Picture this with your spiritual eyes. Inside you lies a flame that has flickered quietly for years. A flame that has survived storms, disappointments, betrayals, lack, hardship, and silent tears. That flame never died because heaven protected it. But now, heaven is not protecting it anymore. Heaven is fanning it. Heaven is breathing on it. Heaven is calling it to become a blaze, a holy fire, a warrior fire, a decree fire. This is not the courage of the world. This is not the courage of human strength. This is the courage of someone who knows who walks beside them. This is the courage of someone who knows angels stand at their right and left. This is the courage of someone who knows the Almighty fights for them. And when this courage ignites, fear cannot survive. It cannot speak. It cannot bind. It cannot dictate your thoughts or decisions anymore. Feel it now. Feel how fear is losing its grip on your mind. Feel how anxiety is melting away from your spirit. Feel how every voice of doubt that once told you, "It is too late, you are not enough, this is impossible," starts to dissolve like dust under a rising sun. You are stepping into a new version of yourself, a bolder version, a stronger version, a heaven-backed version. This courage is the doorway to abundance. Because money flows to the courageous, opportunities open for the courageous. Breakthrough comes to the courageous. Angels respond to the courageous. Let these words hit your spirit with force. Courage is the spiritual ignition switch that causes heaven to move. When courage rises, heaven hears your voice differently. When courage rises, your decrees carry weight. When courage rises, darkness cannot approach you. When courage rises, the flow of abundance becomes unstoppable. So right now, speak this silently inside your heart. I release every fear that ever held me back. I let go of every doubt that ever chained me. I rise with holy courage. I stand in the identity heaven gave me. I am a warrior. I am a child of the Almighty, and I declare that fear has no place in me. Let the weight of those words shift something inside you. Because when courage rises, your entire spiritual environment changes. The atmosphere around you becomes charged. Your prayers carry thunder. Your decrees carry authority. Your presence carries heaven. Fear once told you to be quiet. Courage tells you to speak. Fear once told you to wait. Courage tells you to command. Fear once told you to step back. Courage tells you to step forward. This is the divine reversal unfolding in your life right now. You are not becoming someone new. You are becoming who you always were. The real you, the anointed you, the courageous you, the spiritually unstoppable you. And listen carefully because this is crucial. As courage rises inside you, heaven begins to gather its armies. This is why part 3 of your spiritual journey leads immediately into part 4. Because until courage ignites, the angels assigned to your breakthrough cannot descend. Angels do not move at the voice of fear. Angels move at the voice of authority spoken through courage. It is courage that activates angelic movement. It is courage that summons heavenly reinforcements. It is courage that signals to the spiritual world, the warrior has awakened, release the help, release the breakthrough, release the abundance. So understand this deeply. Your courage does not just change you. Your courage changes what heaven releases toward you. Even now, the moment your courage awakened, something shifted above you. Portals began to open. Light began to descend. Heavenly forces that were once standing at a distance have now begun to move toward you because they have heard the sound of your identity awakening. Heaven is responding. Angels are mobilizing. Breakthrough is aligning. Abundance is accelerating. This is why you feel the intensity in your spirit right now. This is not imagination. This is activation. Courage is the spark that sets the entire supernatural sequence into motion. And you have just been ignited. From this moment forward, fear does not define your decisions. Fear does not shape your identity. Fear does not influence your future. Your courage, born of heaven, born of purpose, born of spiritual authority, is now leading your life. And this courage is preparing you for what comes next. Because in the next stage, the heavens will not stay silent. The angels will not stay still. The armies of God will descend in full strength to fight for your abundance, your provision, and your destiny. But heaven waits for one thing first. Your courage must stand firm. Your courage must burn strong. Your courage must rise like a flame that nothing can extinguish. And that flame has now been lit. Prepare yourself. The angels are coming. The battle for your abundance is about to begin. Listen to me with your spirit wide open, because what I am about to speak is not symbolic, not poetic, not metaphorical. It is spiritual reality, a reality that is unfolding around you right now, in this very moment, whether your physical eyes see it or not. When courage ignites, heaven does not stay silent. When your identity awakens, angels do not remain still. When your spirit stands in authority, the armies of God begin to move. And right now, they are moving toward you. You can almost feel it, can't you? A pressure in the air, a trembling in the unseen, a shift around you so strong that even your body recognizes something spiritual is happening. This is not imagination. This is not emotion. This is the sound of heavenly forces being released on your behalf. Let this truth hit you with full force. Your courage has summoned the armies of heaven. The moment you rejected fear, the moment you stood in your spiritual identity, the moment you embraced authority instead of begging, a signal went out across the spiritual realm, a sound, a command, a vibration that only the angels of God can hear. And they responded. Picture it. High above you, the sky of the spiritual realm cracks open like a veil being torn apart. Brilliant light pours through, cutting through every dark atmosphere that once hung over your finances, your future, your destiny. And from within that light, figures emerge. Not weak, not gentle, not passive, but mighty, radiant, terrifying to the enemy, glorious before God. These are not the soft, floating angels from paintings. These are warriors. These are guardians. These are enforcers of divine decree. These are the angels assigned to your abundance. And they are descending. You can hear, in the spirit, the rumble of their wings. Not feathers, not whispers, but thunder. Thunder that shakes the foundations of every demonic structure that once tried to block you. Thunder that announces victory even before the battle begins. This is what the enemy feared. Not your prayer alone, not your hope, not your desperation. The enemy feared the day you would stand in courage and force the heavens to respond. And that day is today. Now listen carefully, because what comes next is crucial. The angels descending now are not coming to comfort you. They are coming to fight for you. They are coming to tear down the invisible walls that have kept your finances restricted. They are coming to break the bars that kept opportunity out of your reach. They are coming to silence every spiritual force that whispered scarcity and impossibility over your life. For years, you thought your struggle was natural. For years, you believed your setbacks were just bad luck. For years, you assumed your financial blockages were simply circumstance. But today, you see the truth. This has always been spiritual. This has always been warfare. And heaven has finally stepped into the battlefield. The angels gather around you in formation, positioning themselves like warriors preparing for battle. Some stand behind you as protectors. Some stand before you as breakers of barriers. Some rise above you as watchers. And others surround your finances, your work, your dreams, your opportunities, guarding them like sacred treasure. This is not exaggeration. This is scripture come alive. This is divine order in motion. The enemy sees them, and panic spreads across the forces of darkness. Those spirits that once tormented your finances tremble. Those forces that whispered failure start to scatter. Those demonic gatekeepers who stood before your opportunities begin to retreat. Because no power in hell can stand when the armies of the Almighty descend. Hear this with your whole spirit. The angels of abundance do not negotiate. They break, they cut, they destroy, they burn, they reclaim, they restore. They are here to enforce the decree you have spoken. Remember this, God heard your voice, heaven recorded your decree, and now the angels execute what your mouth released. This is how spiritual law works. This is why the enemy wanted to keep you in fear. This is why darkness wanted your voice silenced. This is why scarcity wanted you trembling, doubting, apologizing for your prayers. Because once you rise in courage and speak with authority, heaven is obligated to move. And heaven is moving now. Open your spiritual eyes and picture what is happening. One angel, massive and radiant, swings a flaming sword and slices through the chains wrapped around your finances. Another slams his staff into the ground, causing the gates that once blocked opportunity to crack open. Another lifts a shield engraved with the promises of God, deflecting every arrow of fear and anxiety. Another pours oil golden, glowing over your hands, symbolizing the blessing of supernatural increase. You are being surrounded. You are being guarded. You are being empowered. And while this happens, the forces of darkness scatter like insects fleeing the light. This is not warfare you fight alone. You decree. The angels enforce. You speak. Heaven moves. You stand in courage. The armies of God descend. This is the divine partnership God always intended. Now feel this truth. The angels are not only fighting against your enemies, they are fighting for your abundance. They are pushing open doors that were sealed shut. They are recovering blessings that were stolen. They are lifting burdens that were too heavy for you to carry. They are aligning people, resources, and opportunities to cross your path. They are clearing the road ahead of you so that money can flow freely, quickly, and continuously. You are stepping into a supernatural alignment where the natural world begins to mirror the victory already achieved in the spirit. This is why the promise says money will come fast. This is why the decree says money will come today. This is why heaven guarantees money will not stop flowing. Because the angels are now working on your behalf. Feel the atmosphere around you tighten with holy electricity. Feel the air shift. Feel your spirit rising even higher. You are no longer fighting for breakthrough. Breakthrough is fighting for you. Let this declaration fill your entire being. I am not alone. Heaven fights for me. Angels surround me. Abundance is being released. My finances are protected. My future is guarded. My blessings are delivered. My path is cleared. My warfare is won. Say it again in your heart until it becomes reality. Because from this moment on, the battle over your finances has entered its most decisive stage. The angels are not only descending, they are about to strike. And when they strike, everything that opposed your prosperity will fall. Everything that resisted your advancement will collapse. Everything that tried to delay your abundance will be forced to release what belongs to you. Prepare yourself. The war for your breakthrough has begun, and heaven is winning it for you. In the next part, you will witness what happens when the angels attack the forces that held your finances captive and the chains that once bound you shatter beyond repair. Prepare your heart, still your mind, because what I am about to speak is not gentle, not quiet, not calm. It is violent, it is fierce, it is holy. This is the moment the spiritual war over your life erupts into full battle. This is the moment the unseen becomes visible to your spirit. This is the moment heaven collides with darkness for you, and you must feel the weight of it. You must feel the urgency of it, because this is not a symbolic war. This is not a poetic battle. This is not a metaphor for hard times. This is a real spiritual conflict that has been raging beneath the surface of your life for years. Every setback you faced, every door that slammed shut, every opportunity that disappeared, every financial drought that strangled your hope, every unexpected bill that crushed your spirit, every moment you wondered, why does breakthrough escape me? All of it was the effect of an invisible battle. You were not imagining it. You were not overthinking it. You were not weak. You were under spiritual attack. But now the angels have descended. Now the courage in your spirit is burning. Now the decree has been activated, and hell is in full retreat. Listen as though your victory depends on these words, because it does. The moment the angels hit the battlefield, the spiritual atmosphere around your life cracks open like a storm. What once felt heavy now begins to vibrate. What once felt still now begins to shake. What once felt hopeless now begins to roar with the sound of heavenly armies. Imagine standing on a vast battlefield. You feel wind you cannot explain. You sense power you cannot describe. You see shadows fleeing as light erupts everywhere. This is the war for your abundance. The demons that held your finances captive are real. The spirits that chained your opportunities are real. The forces that whispered scarcity, fear, doubt, and impossibility into your mind are real. But today, their reign ends. Now picture this. The first angel steps forward, sword blazing like burning gold. With one swing, he tears through the thick fog of oppression that once covered your financial life. The fog that made everything unclear. The fog that made you doubt. The fog that drained your strength. Gone in an instant. Another angel lifts his shield and slams it into the ground. The shockwave travels like lightning, knocking down demonic towers built to block your opportunities. Towers of delay, towers of deception, towers of discouragement. They crumble at once. Then the angels who stand behind you move, wings igniting like wildfire. They surround you, forming a wall so impenetrable that no attack of poverty, no scheme of scarcity, no assignment of darkness can get through. And suddenly, you see them, the forces that have been fighting you your whole life. They do not look powerful now. They do not look intimidating now. They do not look victorious now. They look terrified, because for the first time, they see you standing in your identity. For the first time, they hear your voice as a commander. For the first time, they see angels fighting for you. For the first time, they know their time is over. Hear this truth. Scarcity is a spirit. Poverty is a spirit. Financial chaos is a spirit. And these spirits have been at war against you because they feared who you would become once you awakened. But you are awake now. Fear cannot hold you. Doubt cannot silence you. The enemy cannot deceive you. You have stepped into your authority, and heaven has backed it. Watch the battlefield in your spirit. The angels charge. The demons scatter. Light pierces darkness. Chains begin to break. Doors begin to unlock. Strongholds begin to collapse. This is the power that was hidden from you. This is the warfare that explains your past struggles. This is the collision of heaven and hell for your destiny. One angel grabs a demonic chain wrapped around your finances and breaks it like a dry twig. Another strikes the ground and bursts open wells of abundance that were covered by spiritual debris. Another lifts his hand and contracts. Opportunities, connections, and resources locked away by the enemy come flying back toward you. This is not fantasy. This is spiritual justice. You are watching the repayment of years stolen. You are witnessing the destruction of everything that resisted your calling. You are seeing the enemy lose control of what he once held tightly. Hear the sound in the spirit, the sound of chains snapping, the sound of prison doors swinging open, the sound of spiritual walls collapsing, the sound of your destiny being restored. And in the midst of the chaos, in the heat of the battle, you change. You feel something rising in your chest, authority. You feel something burning in your bones, identity. You feel something settling in your mind, certainty. You are not afraid anymore. You are not confused anymore. You are not helpless anymore. You begin to step forward, not in fear, but in command. The angels fight beside you, not instead of you. This is your war, your territory, your inheritance. And now listen to this crucial truth. The enemy cannot resist a believer who knows who they are. He cannot fight a warrior whose courage is awake. He cannot deceive a mind that is spiritually alert. He cannot restrain someone backed by heaven's armies. He cannot keep what heaven has decreed must be released. So now the battle reaches its turning point. The angels begin to push the forces of poverty backward. They begin to strike the ground, releasing wealth assigned to your name. They begin to reclaim money, opportunities, blessings, and breakthroughs that were stolen or delayed. The enemy is losing ground. You are gaining it. The atmosphere thickens with victory. Your spirit feels the shift. Something inside you stands tall and declares, "Enough. No more. My life belongs to God. My finances belong to God. My destiny belongs to God. Everything stolen must return. Everything blocked must open. Everything withheld must be released." This is not a request. This is not a hope. This is a decree spoken from the battlefield of spiritual truth. And heaven is answering it. Now, see it clearly. The angels lift their swords. Light bursts outward. Darkness collapses. The enemy flees faster than your eyes can follow. The battle concludes with one final blast of holy fire. Victory, not partial victory, not symbolic victory, total victory. And in the echo of that victory, one thing becomes clear. You are no longer fighting for breakthrough. Breakthrough now fights for you. You are no longer chasing abundance. Abundance is being delivered to you. You are no longer pleading for release. Release has already begun. The war for your finances is being won right now, in the unseen realm, and the next part of your journey will take you from warfare into decree, from struggle into possession, from fighting into receiving. In the next part, you will speak the decree that seals this victory forever, and the unstoppable flow of abundance will begin. Listen closely now. The war has been fought. The angels have descended. The chains have shattered. The darkness has retreated. And now, everything pauses. Heaven stands still. The angels stand at attention. The spiritual atmosphere tightens like the air just before lightning strikes. Why? Because the next words you speak will shape your future. This is the moment everything has been building toward. This is the moment the battle has cleared the path for. This is the moment when you speak the decree that seals your breakthrough, establishes your authority, and commands abundance to flow into your life without interruption. Hear this with your spirit. Warfare wins the territory, but the decree claims it. The decree is the signature on the victory. The decree is the stamp of spiritual ownership. The decree is the act that tells heaven and earth, "It belongs to me now." And today, you will speak that decree. But before you do, let your heart absorb this truth. The power of a decree is not in the volume of your voice, but in the identity from which you speak. You do not speak now as the frightened version of yourself. You do not speak as the one who lived under scarcity. You do not speak as the one who begged for breakthrough. You speak as an heir. You speak as a warrior. You speak as a commander in the spiritual realm. You speak as a child of the Almighty God whose words carry the weight of heaven. That is why heaven is silent in this moment, not because nothing is happening, but because everything is listening. The angels are waiting for your decree. The spiritual world is waiting for your decree. The enemy, defeated and humiliated, trembles at your decree, and your future is ready to open at the sound of your decree. So let me ask you, Are you ready to speak as one who holds authority? Are you ready to declare as one who knows they are chosen? Are you ready to command money, opportunities, blessings, and abundance to come to you? Because that is exactly what you are about to do. But first, feel the magnitude of this moment. This decree is not made in weakness. It is not made in fear. It is not made from uncertainty. It is made in the aftermath of a spiritual victory already won. The angels have destroyed the strongholds. They have opened the gates. They have broken the chains. They have secured the territory. Now you must take possession with your decree. You may think, can my words really do that? Yes, because your words are not just sounds. Your words are spiritual laws being spoken into existence. Your words are heavenly commands, backed by the authority of your identity in Christ. You are not hoping for abundance. You are enforcing abundance. You are not wishing for breakthrough. You are sealing breakthrough. You are not pleading for change. You are commanding change. That is the difference between a prayer of desperation and a decree of inheritance. And that is why this decree has been hidden for generations. It is not for the timid. It is not for the uncertain. It is not for those who speak without authority. This decree is for the awakened. This decree is for the courageous. This decree is for the spiritually alive. This decree is for you. So now, imagine this scene in your spirit. You stand in the middle of a battlefield, now quiet after victory. The ground is still glowing with the aftermath of heavenly fire. The angels are positioned around you like a royal guard. Your spirit is steady, strong, alive. You lift your head toward heaven. You open your mouth, and you declare the words that will shift your entire financial reality. Let these words rise inside your heart as you prepare. O Lord, God of abundance and power, with the authority you have given me, with the identity you have restored in me, with the courage you have ignited in me, I decree liberation over my finances. This is not merely a prayer. This is a declaration of war against scarcity, doubt, fear, and lack. Feel the weight of it. Now the decree continues. I break every chain of poverty. I cancel every assignment of scarcity. I shatter every limitation. I overturn every curse. I dismantle every obstruction. I open every gate of financial opportunity. I command wealth to come. I command money to move. I command abundance to flow. I command every delayed blessing to be released. This is spiritual legislation. This is heavenly authority. Your decree continues. I call forth divine provision from every source God has appointed. I call forth unexpected income. I call forth open doors. I call forth accelerated blessings. I call forth supernatural increase. I call forth resources that cannot be stopped, blocked, or stolen. Let these words burn in your soul. I decree that money comes to me today. I decree that money comes to me quickly. I decree that money flows to me without interruption. I decree that the abundance of heaven manifests in my life now. You feel it, don't you? The atmosphere tightening, the angels leaning in, the spiritual realm responding, your decree echoing like thunder across the invisible world. You are rewriting your destiny. You are reshaping your future. You are enforcing the victory God already gave you. Now the decree reaches its climax. Every blessing stolen from me must return multiplied. Every opportunity blocked must now open without resistance. Every bit of wealth assigned to my name must locate me. Every seed I have planted must produce accelerated harvest. Every day of delay is overturned with divine recompense. And then the identity declaration, the seal of authority. I am a child of God. I am an heir to divine abundance. I am a commander in the spirit. I am favored. I am chosen. I am unstoppable. I walk in financial liberation. I live in supernatural prosperity. What heaven has released shall manifest now. When you speak this, heaven obeys. The angels enforce. The enemy surrenders. and abundance begins to move toward you like a river breaking through a dam. This is not a future hope. This is a present decree. This is your spiritual reality shifting. This is your financial atmosphere transforming. This is the sound of freedom echoing through your life. And now, let this final truth rise within you. You have not just prayed, you have decreed, you have not just asked, you have commanded, you have not just hoped, you have activated. What happens next is the manifestation. In the next part, you will move from decree into possession, from speaking your breakthrough to taking hold of it with both hands, as heaven pours abundance into your life without restraint. Listen carefully, because what comes next is not gentle, it is not subtle, it is not symbolic. This is the moment of possession, the moment where heaven's decree becomes your earthly reality, the moment where you no longer stand at the edge of promise, you step inside it. Everything you have spoken, everything you have broken, everything you have declared, everything heaven has released, now gathers at your feet, waiting for one thing: your act of possession. Hear this: warfare defeats the enemy. The decree claims the victory, but possession is what makes the victory yours. And right now, heaven is watching, angels are watching, and even your defeated enemies are watching to see what you will do next. Will you shrink back into old identity, or will you take your place as the heir who owns the blessing? This is the line between those who experience breakthrough temporarily and those who walk in abundance permanently. You must take what belongs to you. Not wait, not hope, not wish, not observe. Take. Because the spiritual world does not deliver blessings into passive hands, it delivers blessings into hands that reach, claim, and possess. So feel the gravity of this moment. You are no longer the one praying outside the gates. You are the one who walks through them. But before you step forward, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some people pray for years yet never see breakthrough? Have you wondered why they speak faith but live in fear? Have you wondered why abundance seems to hover around them but never settle upon them? It is because they never took possession. They waited for God to hand them what He already authorized them to claim. They waited for signs, confirmations, or feelings, when heaven was waiting for them to step in and take what the decree already released. But you will not make that mistake. Not today. Not after everything heaven has done for you. The battlefield has been cleared. The angels have driven out your enemies. The decree has been sealed. Now the inheritance lies before you. See it in the spirit. Golden gates swing wide open. A path glows beneath your feet, radiant and warm. Chests of blessing, opportunities, financial increase, and supernatural provision lie ahead like treasures appointed for your name. The light of heaven shines over the territory that once belonged to the enemy, territory that now belongs to you. And then you feel something rise inside you, a holy boldness, a sacred confidence, a knowing that this moment was always meant for you. You step forward, and as your foot touches the territory, heaven acknowledges it. The angels roar in victory. The spiritual atmosphere vibrates. The blessing shifts from the realm of promise into the realm of possession. This is why the enemy fought you so viciously, not because you prayed, not because you believed, not because you hoped, but because he feared the day you would step into possession, because possession is where transformation happens. Hear this truth. Hope sees the promise. Faith declares the promise. But possession holds the promise. And today, you hold it. Let these words wash over you like a rushing river. Everything heaven has opened is now mine. Every blessing released belongs to me. All abundance withheld is now restored to me. All wealth assigned to my name must come to me. Every door broken open is mine to walk through. Every opportunity loosed is mine to receive. Every resource unlocked is mine to gather. You are not speaking possibility. You are speaking possession. You are saying, It is mine by right. It is mine by inheritance. It is mine by decree. It is mine by divine appointment. Now feel this shift. Possession requires action. Action requires courage. Courage requires identity. Identity requires revelation. And that revelation is alive in you right now. So you step deeper into the territory. And as you do, you notice something powerful. The ground is no longer hard or resistant. It feels alive under your feet, responding to your authority, honoring your presence. The spiritual realm recognizes you as the heir. The chains that once bound your finances lie shattered behind you. The gatekeepers that once blocked your opportunities are gone. The fog that once confused your decisions has lifted. Everything is clear. Everything is open. Everything is aligned. This is possession. And as you move forward, the angels carry chests overflowing with blessing. They set them before you one by one. Chest of restored opportunities. Chest of returned finances. Chest of accelerated income. Chest of unexpected wealth. Chest of divine connections. Chest of supernatural favor. Chest of unstoppable abundance. Each chest has your name engraved in heavenly script, not metaphorically, spiritually, legally, eternally. Because heaven does not release blessings into the atmosphere. Heaven releases blessings into inheritance. And you are that inheritance. Now listen to this next revelation, because it is the key to making your possession permanent. You must speak like an owner. You must walk like an owner. You must think like an owner. You must expect like an owner. You must receive like an owner. Owners do not ask permission. Owners do not question access. Owners do not fear loss. Owners do not doubt their right. Owners take what is theirs without hesitation. You are that owner now. You are that heir. You are that commander. So declare this with the fullness of your spirit. I possess the wealth heaven has released. I possess the opportunities aligned for me. I possess the abundance appointed to my name. I possess the financial freedom that belongs to my destiny. I possess everything the enemy tried to withhold, and I will never surrender it. Feel the power of these words locking into your identity like armor, because once you possess something spiritually, the enemy cannot steal it again. He may try to intimidate you. He may try to distract you. He may try to whisper lies. But he cannot take what you already claimed. Not unless you release it. And today, you refuse to release anything heaven gave you. You now walk in ownership. You stand in possession. You carry authority. You command abundance. Heaven trusts you to steward what it has released. The angels honor you as the rightful heir. The spiritual gates stay open for your footsteps. And this is only the beginning. Because once you possess the territory, the next stage is multiplication, when what you have taken begins to increase, expand, and overflow beyond measure. In the next part, you will witness how possession transforms into supernatural multiplication, where abundance does not just arrive, it grows, it accelerates, and it spills over into every area of your life. Listen with every fiber of your spirit, because what is about to unfold is not ordinary, not logical, not predictable. What happens in this stage defies natural law. It breaks human limitation. It overrides every statistic, every past failure, every doubt you ever carried. This is the realm of supernatural multiplication, and you are stepping into it right now. If the earlier stages were about breaking chains, if the angels fought to reclaim your inheritance, if your decree opened the gates, if possession placed blessing in your hands, then multiplication is the moment heaven breathes on what you hold, and it begins to expand beyond anything you imagined. So let me begin with this question, a question that strikes deep. What good is possession if nothing multiplies? What good is reclaiming if nothing grows? What good is territory if it stays the same size? Possession gives you access. Multiplication gives you overflow. Possession puts the blessing in your hands. Multiplication turns your hands into a fountain. Possession opens the door. Multiplication fills the house. And this is the stage the enemy feared the most. Not when you prayed, not when you fought, not when you decreed, not even when you took possession. The moment that terrified darkness was the moment multiplying grace would fall on your life. Because a blessed person affects themselves, but a multiplied person affects generations. A multiplied person changes atmospheres. A multiplied person disrupts spiritual darkness. A multiplied person becomes a source, not a receiver. And today heaven declares, you are entering the realm of multiplication. Look in the spirit and watch what is happening. The treasures you possessed in Part 8 begin to glow. The chests of blessing expand. The doors of opportunity widen further. The streams of income split into rivers. Then rivers split into tributaries. Then tributaries spread into an entire ecosystem of financial flow. This is not imagination. This is divine principle. The kingdom does not give to add. The kingdom gives to multiply. 5 loaves fed thousands. A seed becomes a forest. A small jar of oil fills many vessels. The widow's offering becomes a legacy. What is placed in God's hands never returns in the same measure. And you, because you have decreed, possessed, and stepped into identity, now carry the same multiplying grace. Let the truth settle deep into the core of your being. You are no longer living from blessing. You are living from overflow. You are not sustained by income. You are fueled by multiplication. This is the part where heaven accelerates what belongs to you. So picture this vividly. You stand in the territory you just claimed. The ground beneath your feet trembles, not in danger, but in awakening. The earth recognizes its rightful heir, and from the soil, from the atmosphere, from the spiritual gates, streams of abundance begin rising like fountains breaking through stone. Money begins to come from directions you never expected. Opportunities begin appearing before you even look for them. People begin seeking you instead of you seeking them. Resources begin flowing toward you as if drawn by a divine magnet. This is not chance. This is multiplication. And in the spiritual realm, something extraordinary begins. 1 blessing becomes 10. 10 becomes 100. 100 becomes 1,000. 1,000 becomes a symphony of abundance so great that even you must pause and say, Lord, I have never seen anything like this. Because supernatural multiplication does not ask permission. It does not wait for your understanding. It does not check your bank balance. It does not care about the limits others placed on you. Multiplication is heaven's response to your obedience, your courage, your decree, your possession. And now heaven says, I will multiply what you have claimed until you overflow. Feel this revelation. Blessing is addition. Multiplication is transformation. Addition changes a moment. Multiplication changes a lifetime. Addition helps you survive. Multiplication positions you to bless others. And that is exactly what is happening to you. Now hear this in your spirit, because this is where the power intensifies. Every seed you ever planted, every harvest the enemy blocked, every opportunity that was delayed, every gift inside you that was ignored, every dream that was suffocated by lack, all of it is now activating under the mantle of multiplication. The seeds buried in your past are rising like a field of wheat, breaking open the soil. The dreams you cried over are now being watered with the rain of heaven. The gifts inside you are now being breathed on by the Spirit of God. And where there was once dryness, there is now a garden. Where there was once scarcity, there is now a flood. Where there was once stagnation, there is now acceleration. This is multiplication. Let me describe the spiritual scene now. Angels return, not empty-handed, but carrying more than what was originally lost. Resources that were stolen are coming back multiplied. Wealth that was withheld is returning with interest from heaven. Doors that were blocked are opening into hallways full of doors. Opportunities are spawning new opportunities. One idea births 10. One connection births networks. One blessing births breakthroughs. One decree births a lifetime of abundance. And then heaven speaks, not in a whisper, but in a voice that shakes the core of creation. What you hold will multiply. What you touch will thrive. What you build will expand. What you decree will manifest. What you claim will overflow. Receive that deeply, because multiplication is not only happening around you, it is happening through you. Your mindset is expanding. Your confidence is multiplying. Your financial anointing is increasing. Your spiritual authority is strengthening. Your influence is growing. Your reach is extending. You are no longer a receiver of miracles. You are becoming a source of them. Money does not just find you, it flows through you. Blessing does not just touch you, it grows wherever you walk. Opportunities do not just appear for you, they expand for the sake of others connected to you. This is the mark of multiplication. You become a carrier of abundance. And now, listen carefully, because this final truth is the doorway to the next stage. Multiplication is powerful, but it can only be sustained by a mind that is protected. Because once blessing multiplies, the enemy does not attack your wealth, he attacks your thoughts. That is why the next stage, part 10, is essential. To sustain multiplication, your mind must be fortified, your spirit must be guarded, and your identity must be unwavering. In part 10, you will step into the mindset that locks in this abundance. So no demon, no doubt, no fear, no circumstance can ever take it from you again. Listen closely, because what you are stepping into right now is one of the most critical stages of your spiritual transformation. This is the stage that determines whether your abundance will be temporary or permanent, whether your breakthrough will flicker for a moment or burn like an eternal flame, whether the multiplication you have received will fade or increase without end. And it all begins in one place, your mind. The battlefield is not your bank account. The battlefield is not your job. The battlefield is not your circumstances. The battlefield is your thoughts. If the enemy cannot stop your blessing, he will try to disrupt your belief. If he cannot block your abundance, he will target your mindset. If he cannot defeat your decree, he will try to poison your imagination. Because the enemy knows this spiritual law. A person cannot hold externally what they cannot carry internally. This is why after the angels war for you, after the decree is spoken, after possession is taken, after multiplication begins, the next phase is the fortification of your mind, the sealing of your identity, and the strengthening of your inner world, so abundance becomes your permanent environment. So let me begin with a question. Are you ready to become the version of yourself who can sustain unlimited blessing? Not seasonal blessing, not occasional blessing, not fragile blessing, but blessing that flows without interruption, blessing that grows with time, blessing that becomes your legacy. Because multiplication without mindset becomes chaos, but multiplication with a fortified mind becomes greatness. Now hear this revelation. The enemy is not afraid of your money. He is afraid of your mindset. He is afraid of the person you become when you realize you are unbreakable, unstoppable, unshakable. The enemy trembles at a believer who cannot be intimidated, manipulated, or discouraged. A believer whose mind is shielded by divine truth is a nightmare to darkness. So today, God begins the construction of a fortress within you. Not a weak shield, not a temporary defense, but a fortress made of revelation, identity, courage, and divine certainty. See it in the spirit. Massive walls rising around your thoughts, gates of light protecting your emotions, angelic sentries positioned at every corner of your mind. a dome of glory resting upon your imagination. Every lie that once entered easily now collides with heavenly armor. Every whisper of fear dissolves at the gates. Every doubt dissolves before it reaches your heart. This is the fortified mind. And this right here, is what sustains supernatural multiplication. So let me speak this clearly. You must now reject every old thought pattern that belongs to the season God just delivered you from. You cannot carry lack thinking into an abundance season. You cannot carry fear thinking into a courage season. You cannot carry doubt thinking into a miracle season. You cannot carry small thinking into a multiplication season. The old mindset must die for the new season to live. Let these words sink deep. Your thoughts must now match your inheritance. Your mind must now reflect your authority. Your identity must now align with your abundance. You are not stepping into financial blessing. You are stepping into financial identity. You are not stepping into occasional miracles. You are stepping into miracle mentality. You are not stepping into temporary favor. You are stepping into permanent favor consciousness. As your mind transforms, the world around you rearranges to match it. Now listen closely, because the Spirit is releasing instructions that seal your abundance. 1. You must speak abundance daily. Not because God forgets, but because your mind must hear your identity. Your voice is the architect of your internal world. Say it in your heart. I walk in abundance. I expect abundance. I attract abundance. I live in abundance. 2. You must reject fear instantly. Do not entertain fear. Do not debate fear. Do not negotiate with fear. Fear is a seed. If you allow it to remain for even a moment, it begins to grow roots. 3. You must guard your imagination. What you picture becomes what you possess. Imagine lack returns. Imagine overflow multiplies. Your imagination is a spiritual womb. 4. You must stay in environments of faith, because environments decide elevation. This is why God led you here. This is why He connected you to this message. And this is why I gently, lovingly encourage you. Subscribe to Daily Jesus Message, not as a formality, not as a routine, but as an act of spiritual alignment. Because when you surround yourself with faith-filled declarations, with prophetic teachings, with breakthrough words, your mind stays fortified, your spirit stays sharp, and abundance stays active in your life. Daily Jesus Message is not just a channel, it is a covering. It is a well that keeps your spirit filled. It is a stream of revelation that protects your mindset, so the enemy cannot steal what God is pouring out. Now, let the fortification begin. You will no longer think in terms of survival. You will think in terms of overflow. You will no longer think, will God provide? You will think, provision is my birthright. You will no longer think, maybe something good will happen. You will think, goodness follows me daily. Your internal climate becomes heaven's environment. Your mind becomes the throne room of divine ideas. Your thoughts become rivers of creativity. Your decisions become guided by supernatural wisdom. Your expectations become magnets that attract blessing. And then something miraculous begins. The more your mind strengthens, the more multiplication accelerates. Your income increases, your ideas flourish, your opportunities multiply, your connections expand, your influence rises, your spiritual authority strengthens, because abundance responds to the mind that is ready to hold it. And now, listen to this final revelation. The fortified mind is the proof of your kingship. Kings do not panic. Kings do not doubt. Kings do not fear. Kings rule, kings decree, kings possess, kings expand. So today, take your seat not as a survivor of spiritual battle, but as a ruler over spiritual territory. Your mind is now your throne, your thoughts are your scepter, your identity is your crown. And as you sit upon that throne, heaven whispers, This abundance will not stop. This multiplication will not fade. This blessing will not shrink, because the one who holds it is now fortified. You are ready. Your mind is sealed. Your inheritance is secure.